We are going to be going through my tier list for the best defenses going into the 2019/2020 NFL season. So as you guys can see, this is my tier list for the best defenses going into 2019/2020 season. First thing I would like to say about this list is don't really worry about where they fall in a certain category. So you see average, you see all of those teams. Don't worry if they're farthest to the left or furthest to the right. I didn't really understand how to do it, so I just kind of put them in there. So basically there's 5 categories and I just put the teams in 5 categories. So don't really worry about where they fall in that category. Just know they're in that category, okay? So just understand that first and foremost. And again, this is defenses, so if you guys want to see me do like quarterback one, definitely let me know. Now, obviously, I pay attention to the Detroit Lions more than any other team in the NFL, so let me just say that as well. But let's get into it. So we're basically going to be focusing on the 4 divisional teams more than anything here. But you can look through it. I don't know what D means. I guess that means the worst level. I'm not sure why they put D. I could have changed the wording, but I just left it. This is what it came up as. It says D. So D is the worst group, apparently. And they're pretty self-explanatory. You have the Dolphins, the Buccaneers, Raiders. Like, they're not that good of a defense. They struggle defensively, all of those teams do. And I expect them to struggle coming into 2019 season. Now, going to the worst one, I don't understand how this is called worst because one's D and one's worst. Like, if this is the worst, how can you get worster? Worstest? I don't understand. So just, I don't know, the wording's weird. But anyways, here's the level up from the worst or the D list. We have the teams like the Browns in there. We have the Rams. Rams kind of surprising, but not really. You look at statistically last season, they probably would have fell close to this category last season. They finished 21st in points per game allowed and 18th, I believe, in yards per game allowed. So not super surprising there. They lost out on a couple of free agents. They have a lot of big names on their team, but I don't think their defense is that great per se. You see teams like the Browns on here. The Browns, I think, will improve from last season. Again, don't worry about where they're at in the category. I think they'll improve, but I'm not like 100% sure they're going to be great on defense because they do have a lot of young guys that they're going to be relying on to take over big roles. And I don't love having to do that. I like having guys that you're set at the spot and then you bring the young guys in to like help out, okay? Not exactly, hey, you're our go-to guys. You guys have to step up. But the Browns, not bad. They should be improved defensively. We'll see what happens there. But let's really look at the divisional teams for the NFC North. So you can see all of these teams are kind of high on the list in the NFC North. You can see the Packers here at average. You can see they had the Vikings at good, and the Vikings could be at best. Okay, see how good and best. The Vikings you could put on the best list. Now, maybe I was just supposed to put one team on the best. I don't care. This is how I'm doing it, okay? So basically, the Vikings, you could put them on the best list. I have the Lions up there, and I also have... Did I already go through about? And Chicago's up on the best. So that's how the NFC North looks. Let's go deeper into it though. So looking at the average, that's where I have the Green Bay Packers. Now this could vary. I think this is one of those teams that has potential to vary up to good, maybe even best, but also to fall down to worst. Now they added a lot of pieces this offseason. They pretty much redid their whole defense. Like, this was a defense that looks not at all the same. Like, their whole roster is completely different going into 2019 season. With all of those questions, it's really hard to evaluate their offseason and say, oh, they're this good or they're going to be this good. They're probably going to be somewhere average to start, and then, like I said, it could fluctuate. They added Adrian Amos from the Chicago Bears. They added a lot of players, okay, let's just say that. And they took a lot of players from good teams. They had Rashawn Gary. They added Preston Smith. They added Zadarius Smith. I'm looking at my notes because sometimes I forget. Their big question mark is the linebacker position by Blake Martinez. Let me just say that. And their cornerbacks are kind of a question mark. I don't love their cornerbacks. And for one, they have to stay healthy, but that's true with any team in the NFL, right? I don't love our cornerbacks, but I really don't love their depth at that cornerback position. That's what really gets me there. So we'll see how that works out. Again, that could fluctuate. Understand that. Next up, we have the good category. Again, I had the Vikings here. You guys could say, do this. I don't know if I can drag it from here. Well, I can. You could do that. You could move them to the best. And that's perfectly fine. No problem with that at all. But the Vikings, they're always a really good defense. They've been a good defense for the last few years. And they may have taken a little dip here, but probably not, okay? They had a good offseason, in my opinion. I mean, I think they had the second best offseason in the NFC North, close to Detroit Lions. They're just a good defense overall. Like, there's not a lot of question marks here. You know what? Just for the sake of doing it, we're going to move them the best because it's just fair. I don't know. The Chargers are good defense. Steelers will have a good defense. Let's throw the Steelers down here because I don't like the Steelers. Okay? I'm sorry, Steelers fans. Let me just get that out of there. But we're just going to throw the Steelers down there. Now, you can see we have the Vikings at the top now. So basically 3 of the 4 NFC North teams. All the NFC North has some dang good defense. And again, the Packers could be moving up. Looking at the Bears, they probably have the best defense in the league. They probably do. If I had to predict what their defense will be for 2019, I would say they're probably going to be one of the best. They could be the best. Last year, they were one of the best. They were first in points allowed per game and third in yards allowed per game. And they just added some players. Now, one big guy they did lose was Adrian Amos, a young safety, but they countered that with bringing in Clinton Dix. They spent a lot of money for him. No problems there. They also lost one of their slot cornerbacks. They brought in Buster Skrine. So, again, they fixed that. Maybe you don't believe in the Bears defense, but I think they're going to be a great defense. Offensively, there's some question marks, but defensively, I think they have one of the best in the league. Then looking at our Detroit Lions, I'm hype, okay? I'm super excited to see this defense for the Detroit Lions. Overall, they have depth. They have so many talented players. They were good last season. They showed improvements. Matt Patricia is a genie on defense. And not only were they great last year, but they added so many good players. They added Trey Flowers. They added Justin Coleman. They added so many good players. And you look at the draft, they added Austin Bryant, which I thought was a great pick. Amani to add depth. Like, they have depth at the cornerback position. They have tons of depth at that defensive line. They have multiple guys playing that linebacker position. Jelani Tavai is a guy that's going to stand out this season. I believe that. And our safeties. Like, we have so many players defensively that are really good. Whoever doesn't make the team probably could start somewhere else. Like, that's just true with how the positions look. I mean, you look at, we brought in Andrew Adams. Who knows if he's going to make the team? Well, he had not 8. That would be crazy. He had 4 interceptions last season, though. And he may not make the team. Like, that's how deep we are defensively. So I think the Lions are going to have one of the best defenses 2019. That's not biased. That's just a fact. We're going to have great defense. So like I said, NFC North as a whole looks really good defensively. The Ravens. Okay, the Ravens. I wrote that down because where do I have the Ravens at? Ravens. Where are the Ravens? Ravens, average. Okay, so the Ravens last season were, again, one of the best defenses in the league. They were number 2 in points allowed per game and number 1 in yards allowed per game. But they lost so many key pieces. They lost Terrell Suggs, CJ Mosley, and Zadarius Smith to the Green Bay Packers. So with that being said, with losing a lot of their top veteran talent, I think it's going to drop them down. It should be a solid defense still, but I could see them dropping a little bit. The Ravens are known to have a good defense, so I could see them sitting at that average position. So this is my tier list. Again, don't worry about where they fall. So the Patriots and the Jaguars both have a great defense. I'm not saying which one's better here. I just kind of threw them into their own categories. Let me hear your guys' list or any changes you would make to mine. This is not perfect, just my opinion basically on things. The Chiefs, I don't love their defense. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts, comments below. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. If you guys have any agreements, let me know that as well, because I want to know that I was agreed with on something, okay? So this is my list. If you guys want to see more tier lists, or maybe you guys want to see me make it in front of you next time, I will definitely do that, maybe with quarterbacks or something, because I think quarterbacks would be really fun, okay? So thank you, Pat, for watching, and I'm out.